recording will be made available within a few days. Any questions captured during the session through the Teams chat channel, we will provide answers to those questions as well at a later date. Our FNAQ document with answers to questions received prior to the session and during the session will be made available within the next few weeks at our Nicor Gas Transportation website. Today's agenda will include our subject matter experts for each section, which will be the summary changes, the NOMs, customer select, supplier operational portal, gas transportation, and billing, along with closing remarks. We will go ahead and start with our safety and DE&I message presented by Maria.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nicor Gas, we always start every meeting with a safety and DE&I message. And for the safety message, the week of March is poison awareness. So here are some tips that you can utilize to make sure that you don't get through that experience. If you have or you have any suspicion that anybody in your home or yourself might have consumed anything that is poisonous, you can call 911 right away or call the poison control to get more information about the substances that you might have injured. For the DE&I moment, March is also the International Women's Day. We celebrate March 8, which is tomorrow. And the theme for this year is Digit All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. This year, it'll focus on, providing equality for technology access to everyone, regardless of gender, especially in underdeveloped countries. So here's some information and stats that you would have available in this presentation as to why this is the theme for this year. Thank you.
Thanks, Maria. My name is Debbie Santlin, and I'll be going over a high-level summary of the tariff changes that are coming up for May 1st. As we've previously shared, the objective with the tariff changes that are going in May 1st are, the main objective was to place all storage users under similar rules. Rules that would allow our storage fields to be operated safely and in the manner required by aquifer field. So our tariff changes are really centered around how customers and suppliers can utilize their storage banking service or their SBS capacity. As a reminder, effective May 1st, all customers and suppliers will be required to utilize their storage service within certain daily and monthly storage parameters. So your current MDN limits, your maximum daily nomination limits, and the customer select daily delivery ranges will no longer apply. But this means that any volume can be nominated for a day. However, if the resulting storage injection or withdrawal for that day is outside of the daily storage parameters, that volume will be subject to a daily cash out. And then likewise, inventory balances at the end of a calendar month that are outside of the monthly parameters would also be subject to a monthly cash out. So these tariff rules, they're definitely different than what we currently have today. And we did want to share with you today that, to give you time to become used to the new rules, and the data that will be provided, we are planning to widen or double the daily storage parameters through the month of July. We want to help minimize the exposure to daily cash outs as everyone becomes familiar with these new tariff changes. So the chart on this slide, it shows the current daily storage parameters for May through July and what they will be adjusted to. So just as an example, May's max daily injection limit of 0.45% of your SBS capacity will be increased to 0.9%. Okay, and then moving on to the next slide, we have a few other changes also going into effect May 1st. We have some of those listed here. And I just wanted to go ahead and highlight a few of them. So as a reminder, in order to help suppliers and customers manage within these new storage parameters, we will be providing data free of charge, data such as usage, nominations, storage activity, storage balances, storage parameters, all of that will be provided. And we'll be going over how some of this data will be made available and displayed in the system later in the presentation. I also want to point out a couple of changes related to nominations that will also help suppliers and customers manage within these parameters. Darren will provide a little bit more detail on these in a minute. But just as a reminder, again, timely and evening nominations will be accepted on all days instead of on business days only. And then we also will have a new reallocation window that will be provided after the gas day ends. And this will give suppliers the option of reallocating their nominated supply across their customers and groups, if they need to or want to. Reallocations will be optional, but also wanted to mention that in order to support this option that we're providing, any pipeline cuts will need to be resolved every day, including weekends and holidays. Like I said, I think Darren's going to touch on that here in just a minute, and I'll go ahead and turn that over then.
Sorry about that, hit the wrong button. Hi, this is Darren Lilly. I'm going to handle the nominations part of it. As most of you have been made aware of, we are making changes starting May 1st. We are going to now allow nominating to include, as Debbie stated, weekends and holidays. The timely cycle, 4 p.m. cycles, those will not change, but those will happen over the weekends and the holidays. Closeout for the previous days will be done every morning. And it is a requirement that someone must be available on weekends and holidays to make sure that if there is a cut, that we can contact someone to get the closeout period completed. There are 2 closeout periods that are going to start. First one is what we're currently doing, and that's the pipeline closeout. This is where if you get cut on the pipeline, we're going to have you reduce your markets at that time to get in balance. And then at 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Central Time, the reallocation of end users. There is no changes to how the process is done of nominating. So how you're entering a nom will not change. It's just when these noms are due. For the next slide, close of day, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Close of day is going to start when the pipelines close their cycles or their gas days at 9 a.m. And then we're going to allow you to make changes up to 11 a.m. Central Time. This is every single day of the year. Someone must be available all weekends and holidays. We cannot stress that enough. If no one is available and we have exhausted all types of contact, whether email, phone, or IM, and could not reach anybody before the deadline or at the deadline time, your market will be reduced pro rata. So that means if you're delivering to another supplier, they're going to receive a cut. Even if you don't want to, even ice deals will be cut. All must be in balance by 11 a.m. for the pipeline cuts. You can, you need to reduce your pipeline volume to match what the new total that the pipeline got you down to. Title transfers, so deliveries to another supplier are allowed at this time only. And using customers' reductions are on the pipeline. So if you get cut on NGPL, you can only reduce your customers on NGPL only at this time. Once the reductions are complete, no retros and no changes to title transfers will be allowed. Once that is closed out, then we go in and we go into the reallocation of end users. That's where you can readjust your end users. So if you've got cut on one pipeline, you have a couple options. If you deliver to a wrong account, you can make corrections at the time. If you have gas going to another customer that is on a different pipeline, you can actually lower that down, and the customer that got cut on, say, NGPL, you can raise it up on Alliance. You cannot bring in any more gas during that time. You cannot buy any more gas from a different supplier. Those are all closed as of 11 a.m. Once you are done, you need to check to make sure that you are all in balance, to make sure that the changes that you do to your reallocated of your end users are all matching what has actually, what your supply is actually provided. Okay, next slide, please. All right, so just kind of reiterate the change charges. Those will still remain in effect. Those went into effect of May 1st, 2022. Charges will be assessed for any cuts above 29,999 therms. Nominations are going to be accepted every day of weekends and holidays. The changes during the weekends are optional. So if you don't want to make any changes to our next day nominations, you do not have to. But we do, as I stressed, need to be available in the morning so that we can close out the pipelines. Close of day pipelines, balancing requirements, make sure everybody's in balance. No changes to other pipelines that do not have a cut. And the changes need to be completed in a timely manner. So it needs to be done before 11 a.m. Central Time. If not, your deliveries, your market will be cut pro rata. The reallocation of end users between 1:30 and 3:30 to readjust your account volumes. It can be done across all pipelines, but you must be in balance and you cannot bring in any more gas to provide to that customer. And now I'm going to pass it on to Teresa.
Hello, everybody. This is Teresa Best, Customer Select Analyst, and I'm just going to touch on a few highlights of the changes in the program that apply to the Customer Select pools. So the first one is the 5-day forecast will no longer be provided effective with the gas date of May 1, 2023. This is per the tariff and also due to an aging system that will no longer be used for the new program. Therefore, it is being retired as of the program. Customer Select will follow the same daily storage activity parameters and month-end storage inventory balance parameters as all other transportation rates. So, currently today, Customer Select has daily delivery ranges. We basically tell you what to bring in, and transportation does not. So they're going to follow the same rules now, which is, you're limited to how much you can inject and withdraw from storage. And those parameters are the same across all programs. And same for the month-end storage inventory balance. That is a current parameter for Customer Select. It will be different than it is today. But the concept itself is familiar. And then the next major point is critical date withdrawal rights. That will be changing to 1.7% of your storage balance service capacity. Now that is the current limit for transportation rates, but currently Customer Select is 34% of your October 1 MDCQ or the current MDCQ, whichever is higher. So that is also a change. And John Sanchez.
Good afternoon. My name is John Sanchez with Gas Transportation. The gas supplier operations portal is the site where you will go to get your parameters for deliveries, max injection, and withdrawal rates. Usage and nominations from the previous day will also be made available prior to the reallocation window, which is 7 days a week, 1:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Cash out and storage from the previous day will then be made available after the reallocation window is completed. The data can be viewed online. There are various formats that the data can be downloaded in, a couple of which are Excel, which can be sorted. There's also comma separated values or CSV. Those are a couple of the primary ones we would expect folks are probably going to use. The data on the site is a view only. No updates can be made within that site. So if you have reallocations to make, you would have to visit the appropriate site to reallocate that gas. The look of the portal has not changed since the supplier testing that occurred during October of 2022. And the look of it, we've added a column to indicate a critical day. That is towards the beginning of the view as you see it. It's also sortable, where if you want to be able to, in Excel, view critical days only, you'll be able to set that up as a filter. We did deliver training for the portal on August 31st of 22. Slides 19 through 26 within this presentation are provided as a reference. Directions are included as how to enter the data. That previous presentation is also available online. Prior to implementation, users' IDs will be created. We will be sending a form to request details such as a name, email, and role. A single email can be linked to multiple suppliers, but you will have a separate login ID for each one of those. The primary responsibility after implementation to manage users on the portal will fall to administrators. So when we receive those requests back of what users to add, we'd like a minimum 2 users to be identified as administrators. One is a primary, the other is a backup. Within that site as well too, for user management, there is a help section that will provide detailed instructions on how to manage users, whether it be to extend password expiration dates, reset a password, add or remove new users. Deployment of the portal yet will be communicated separately at a later date.
Good afternoon. This is Pat Holland, Supervisor of Gas Transportation. I put together just some comments related to contract processing that I've answered some questions on. So first, the group change fee for accounts leaving and joining groups will be waived for group changes up to and including September 1st, 2023. Group change fees will resume with group changes effective October 1st, 2023 and beyond. We know that you're going to want to consolidate your groups with the new program and the group sizes increasing to 200 members. So to make the transition easier, we decided that we would waive the group change fee for accounts entering or leaving groups. So again, any accounts entering or leaving groups with an effective date of June 1, July 1, August 1, and September 1 will not have group change fees. So you have 4 months to consolidate your groups without incurring the group change fee. Any accounts joining groups or leaving groups effective October 1st, the group change fee will resume. So as required by the Rider 25 tariff, Rider 25 customers were required to make a new selection by February 1st of 2023 and not allowed to switch groups between February 1st and May 1st of 2023. So all group change requests for Rider 25 accounts received after February 1st of 2023 will become effective June 1st, 2023, after they move to the daily red rate. We have received requests to move 95.4% of the current Rider 25 population to daily red, which is about what we expected. The remaining accounts are essentially tied to monthly red customers that are on transportation without a supplier currently supplying gas. Daily red customers, rate 74, 76, 77, et cetera, are allowed to switch groups currently up to and including April 1st of 2023. So this month, you still can submit requests to move accounts from one daily red group to another daily red group. But any group change requests that come for those daily red accounts after April 1st, they will not become effective until June 1st of 2023. The reason all these are going to be effective June 1st and not on May 1st, there's a lot of pieces, moving pieces effective May 1. First, we have Rider 25 and Rider 34 groups and member accounts that need to have their rates changed at the group level and at the individual level on May 1. Then we have to get those groups and accounts to show on the portal for your ability to see the accounts and what you need to know for the parameters. And the accounts have to bill to May 1. So you've got all of this happening on May 1. So through all the rate changes, the presence on the portal, and accounts needing to bill to May 1, from a business perspective, having a large number of accounts moving between groups on May 1 would be less than an ideal situation. So the decision has been made to start the group changes for consolidation and for any other reason on June 1. And then next we have Maria with billing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, this is Maria here. I'm the manager of billing services. And these are the major changes that you would see in billing with the new tariff implementation. So first, all gas transportation accounts will bill to May 1st of 2023 under the current tariff. After that, May 1st of 2023, all accounts and groups will be billed on a calendar month basis. For example, October 1st to November 1st. Group size for Rider 20. Sorry, group sizes for 20. For Rider 13 will remain at the current 200 customers. And the bill due dates are being extended. Currently, they're set to 14 days after the bill issue date. So after May 1st, it'll be 16 days after the bill issue date. In the next slides, we'll have samples of what the bills will look like, some tables that we have. And I think one of the major changes that you will see here will be the cash out activity table. The last presentation that we showed you were mock-ups of the tables made on Excel spreadsheet. These pictures are actual from the bills that we use for testing from the vendor. This is how the actual bill will look like. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Sue.
Good afternoon. My name is Sue Rangarajan. I am the manager for the Strategic Building Solutions. And that brings us to the end of the session. I'd like to thank everyone for your time and attention. And to quickly recap, I'd like you to remember key points. Maximum daily NOM limits and the daily delivery ranges will no longer apply. NOMs will be accepted every day of the week, including weekends and holidays. Darren mentioned someone must be available every day of the year until the pipeline reductions are completed. Balancing and allocations has to be completed by 3:30 p.m. every day. If it is not done by you, we will do it for you. 5-day C-cell forecasted usage will no longer be provided as of May 1, 2023. GT suppliers will have up to 24 months of historical usage data that would be available in the portal. The last one, GSAP user administration will reside with the suppliers after the initial setup and after the go live. That brings us to the end. The chat line will be open at least for another 10 to 15 minutes. If you guys have any additional questions, I would recommend you can actually post those questions in the chat, and we will accumulate all the questions from the chat, and along with the presentation, the FAQ will also be published in the website.